All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Make sure you check out Pig and a Pickle, two locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in Marin from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. All right, let's talk a little bit about minicamp. The Niners have their mandatory minicamp, and we're going to be there for the next couple days, bringing you sights and sounds from minicamp. And I'm going to give you the 5 things that I'm looking for at minicamp this go around. Now, this is the mandatory minicamp. So one of the big questions is, are the Niners stars going to be on the field? I mean, Javon Hargrave, we've yet to see an appearance of Hargrave in the offseason. He was the biggest offseason acquisition. What's this defensive line going to look like with Javon Hargrave? I want to see what he looks like. And are we going to see him on the field? Is he going to be out there working out? Debo Samuel. Debo was at the last OTAs, but really didn't participate in any of he was really there just conditioning and moving around, but I didn't see him really running routes or anything real detailed. How much is he going to play? Is he going to play? Nick Bosa. Is Nick Bosa going to be there? Is Nick Bosa going to be there off to the side? Is he actually going to play? We're waiting on a big contract extension for Bosa, which may pay him in excess of $30 million a year. And then Trent Williams. I mean, these are arguably, 4 or 5 of the best players on the entire roster. Are we going to see these guys on the field, or are we going to see them at all? Are they going to, the minicamp's mandatory, so I imagine they will be there, but will they be in uniform, or will they just be, conditioning off to the side? So that's number one. I mean, those are, 4 big boys on your team. You got your number one D lineman tackle, then your number one defensive end, your left tackle, and your star wide receiver. What are these guys going to do at minicamp? Will they be, participating in full, or will they just be out there to condition? So that's number one. Number 2 is Jair Brown is clearly getting better and better and better. Every time the 49ers kind of reconvene, it seems like Jair Brown is getting a little bit better and a little bit more involved. Now, according to Brandon Ayuk, he said that Brown's already picked off 4 passes and could have had a 5th. I talked to Daniel Bullocks, and he said, I don't know about that, but he has looked pretty good. And he wouldn't verify that Brown has 4 interceptions, but ball production is a big part of Jair Brown's resume. The guy's had 10 picks in each of the last 2 years. And if he had half that in OTAs in a short amount of time, that really kind of shows the ball skills that he demonstrated both at Lackawanna Junior College and at Penn State. So can Jair Brown continue his momentum and his assault on that starting free safety job opposite Talanoa Hufanga? There's a chance that Jair Brown takes that job away from Tayshaun Gibson, who had a very productive year last year for the 49ers. I think secretly, I bet you, Steve Wilkes is probably wishing that Brown does take the job away, because I think he's a little bit more of a complete safety all the way around against the run, against the pass. I think he's a better coverage player. So, Gibson's a tremendous ball hawk. And if you float something in the middle of the field, he's going to come down with it. He's got over 30 career interceptions. But is Jair Brown a better all-around player? And can he take Gibson's job away from him? If he can, that will benefit the 49ers, not just on the field, but also on the salary cap. So number 2 is definitely Jair Brown. Can Jair Brown continue his assault on the starting free safety job and take it away from Tayshaun Gibson? Number 3 is, which wide receiver is going to stand out? We know Debo and Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Danny Gray. I mean, you can make a strong argument that those are the top 4 wide receivers. But what about Ray McLeod? Is his job set? Probably not. You've got Ronnie Bell, who is showing good return ability, and he's got great ball skills, very trustworthy receiver. Heck, Ronnie Bell could be one of the Niners' best receivers. Then you got Chris Conley, who's a big, fast veteran receiver. He's not just a camp body. He's far more than that. This guy ran in the 4.3s coming out. He's a big target. There's a lot to like with Chris Conley. Then you got Danny Gray, and you got Tay Martin, and you got Willie Snead and others. But, I mean, those 5 guys, Bell, Conley, Gray, Martin, and Snead, are going to battle for maybe 1 spot, maybe 2. Danny Gray, I really thought showed growth in the last round of OTAs. He's their vertical threat. I think Danny Gray's got a ton of upside. I'd be shocked if he doesn't make the team. And then Tay Martin and Ronnie Bell, you got, Tay Martin 6'3" and change, great ball skills. Ronnie Bell is smaller than that, but he may even have even better ball skills. So you got those guys. It's like one of these wide receivers, or maybe a couple of them, we'll find out. But which wide receiver stands out among the guys battling for the last two spots? I think that's question number 3 for me. Question number 4 is the exact same question, but at tight end. You got George Kittle, but everybody else is battling for a spot and nothing's guaranteed. Charlie Warner's a blocker. Ross Dwelly's a receiver. But now you've got Cameron Latou, who's a third-round pick. And I got to think third-round pick with that kind of athleticism, that kind of upside. I mean, you got to remember this. This guy's played less than 2 years of tight end. Came to Alabama as a defensive end. So he's raw. He has not played a lot of football, which means that his learning curve is going to be steep, but it also means that his ability to get better, he might get better in a hurry. So Cameron Latou is very interesting. He's very athletic. He's big. He's strong. He might be able to help you as a blocker. And then there's Braden Willis, and Willis was given that gold helmet designation by the Niners personnel department. They love him. And when you watch the film on Braden Willis, you can see why. An arm tackle is not bringing this guy down. He runs through contact. He runs fearless routes in the middle of the field. He runs good routes. He understands how to kind of sink his hips in and out of the breaks. But what I love about him is just the effort. I mean, this guy's going to give you off the charts effort, and you can see why they love him as a culture player, because he doesn't soft foot it through the middle of the field. He's not worried about, getting hit. And then once he's got the ball in his hands, he ain't going down easy. And he can play fullback and he can play tight end. He's got versatility. So, and you got Ross Dwelly, who's a receiver, and you got Warner, who's a try-hard blocker. There's 4 tight ends there. And, it's Kittle and then the 2 incumbents and then the 2. So it's really 5. And the only spot is guaranteed is Kittle's. And do they keep 4? Do they keep 3? I mean, that's going to be an intense battle. And the Niners, the Niners like Charlie Warner and the Niners like Ross Dwelly. So, and obviously they drafted Latou and Willis for distinct reasons. So I look at that tight end competition as fierce. And that is going to be a really, really interesting competition. I think that's going to be something to watch almost every day. And then number 5, of course, is the quarterback battle. Trey Lance, Sam Darnold. There's talk that the Niners are going to bring in Jack Cohn, the former Notre Dame quarterback, as maybe a camp arm. Maybe he's a practice squad guy. To me, he seems like a little bit more talented than your typical camp arm. And then Brandon Allen, who was the backup last year to Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, seems like a way, way talented number 3 quarterback. And then Sam Darnold, to be honest, seems like a really overqualified number 2 quarterback. And then what's going to happen with Trey Lance? Are they going to move Trey Lance? Is he going to be here? Is he going to contend with Brock Purdy for that starting job? Is he going to beat out Sam Darnold? Based on what I've seen, Darnold and Brandon Allen were throwing the ball really well in the offseason. And I would not be shocked if both those guys wind up making the team. So what does that mean for Trey? And what role is Jack Cohn going to play in this thing? And I don't expect we're going to see Brock Purdy, but just those 4 quarterbacks alone is going to make for a very interesting evaluation this summer. So, those are the 5 spots I'm really looking for as far as this minicamp, the final minicamp before training camp begins. What do the Niners do at quarterback? Who shines there? Which wide receiver stands out? Which tight end stands out? Does Jair Brown continue his assault on the starting job over Tayshaun Gibson? And of the superstar players, Hargrave, Debo, Bosa, Trent Williams, do any of them hit the field and actually practice? Or do the Niners get super conservative and say, you know what, well, let's not risk it. We'll keep them out until training camp. So those are the 5 things I'm looking for. Hope you enjoyed our 49er video. Thanks to Pig in a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. And thanks to all of you for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.